lo and behold,
you graduated.
I got into, again, one of the biggest companies in the world, the easiest access to people.
Yeah.
I was ready to meet my wife. All my wives were in relationships, fam.
They were wifed up in college.
In college. That's the thing that killed me. That's the thing that I died a little bit inside because I was refusing all these really decent women talking about like, nah, I'm going to get my wife when I start working. No. Wifeable women are wifed up immediately by very opportunistic, slightly intelligent men. If you're worth dating, you will be dated.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to all you single people out there.
Fuck up. You're so rude. You're so rude.
If you're still single after college, are you worth dating?
Are you worth dating? Ask yourself that.
Ask yourself that.
Question
That's a question. Yeah, question of the week. Are you good? Are you good? Yeah, think about that.
Oh my God. Hello, everybody. We are back with another episode of We the Intellectuals.
Your fear is really resonating.
If you're listening right now, this may feel a little strange because usually...
Are you under duress? Welcome back, everybody. If you're listening right now, just now blink twice if you need help, Renee. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Come on, girl. You were good. You were good until you had to try and start doing it.
I know.
Just
well,
keep that same energy.
Okay. We're just
energy.
keeping the same energy. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of We the Intellectuals. If you listen to us often, this may sound a little strange to you because I'm not usually the one that does the intro, but we thought we were going to switch it up a little bit today. I'm Renee.
And I'm Jem.
We say it afterwards, and we're the Intellectuals, right?
But
anyways,
we're your hosts.
Oh, we're your hosts. Anyways, this is my...
I'm Jem, and we're your hosts for what's going on.
Oh, and we're your hosts. But I'm the one doing the intro, so I'm doing it my way. And not the way that Jem does it. Guys, I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. We're keeping this intro. We're keeping it.
Jesus Christ.
We have to just do it. Okay.
Oh my God, poor thing.
I get nervous when I do things for the first time, and
even when the stakes are on the ground.
When they're so low, but it's the intro. It's like the first thing that people hear. You think about it.
I get that there can be pressure, and I guess I don't.
And
feel
you were
that.
nervous as well when you first started doing it. So
yeah, but I wasn't like. It's fine. We're different people.
Yeah, we definitely
and
are.
I feel like this is a good episode to have this type of intro because this entire episode is just going to be nonchalant and chill and fun and casual and very personal.
Yes, 100%.
No intense, really crazy metaphysical ideas.
Yeah, we really wanted to take a break from the metaphysical, especially after couples therapy and having to get real intense into these years-long marriages and relationships.
In retrospect, it's really hard dissecting 25-year-old marriages. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
It put me in a really
put me in a weird space.
Yeah. I was contemplating things I never thought I had to contemplate. It's bro, I'm not even married. Like, why
I'm literally not even there.
Now I have to think about my parents' marriages and how that it's a lot.
It was rough.
There's a lot going on there, but
it was tough.
So we decided to take a step back, and since it's October, and
we're gonna go back to our roots.
California, and it is college time.
Yeah. I think it's like kind of back to our roots. That's where we met in college. And I think it's even for us as like in our friendship, a lot of the conversations we would have was, college relationship.
Relevant.
Yeah, really college relevant. Yeah. So it feels like home.
That's funny because that's literally all we knew at the time.
No, exactly.
And it's still kind of all we know because we're not that old.
Right. I'm not old enough to know. Like I can't speak on.
I haven't gone on my journey to find myself yet. Everyone's like when they're 30. They
they do the whole. It's like the new. You do it in your 20s in college, which we'll talk about, but then you do it again in your 30s. It never ends, honestly. Like, you're always just finding yourself.
It shouldn't end.
Yeah, I agree. It should not.
But
end.
So we're going to talk about our college experience and hopefully give a little bit of not necessarily advice, but if you can take away something from this conversation, if you're in college, that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about things we wish we would have learned or knew before we started. Tapping into what? I think you said career,
the social aspect of college, and the personal growth.
Personal growth, exactly.
That you experience.
Exactly. So stay tuned for that. That will be fun.
Right. But before that, did you have any pop culture? I have a
Renee has lots of pop culture stuff. What do you want to tell the people? I have lots,
and really, it's only one thing.
I have lots of things to say about one thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what it is? It's funny too. Okay, I'll just say the thing. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Boom. Mic drop.
Have so much to say, but it's really not even so much to say. I just have lots of feelings about witnessing this happening in real time on like whatever Snapchat, Daily Mail articles and TikTok videos.
The crazy part yes, that is a thing.
Right.
It's also interesting that as you have these feelings that's so relevant to you, it's like all that's being talked about. It's interesting that it's all that's being talked about. Like, why does the Daily Mail care so much?
Well, because everyone cares so much. I think it's just... I think there's an aspect. Well, Travis Kelce, as we know, I watch football now. It's actually so funny because Matt literally, like, I'm just like scrolling. My entire For You page is literally
shit.
Is all well, not even necessarily football. It is ESPN because even ESPN is like promoting this like
That's
big
so
time.
Crazy.
Like the NFL is using
so
this
insane.
like as a PR moment
so maybe
for themselves.
The Swifties are like onto something low key.
With like
just like putting this on the map because like the NFL is a big deal. Travis Kelce is a big
nationally
deal.
a big deal
But
for sure.
The way that it's becoming like a marketing thing because Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift in a way that it was never relevant because Taylor Swift have been dating people on and off for forever. Yeah, every one of her songs is about a breakup.
But the thing is, I will say her most current relationship that she got out of, she was in for almost 10 years. And that was a very like, and I agree, like her dating, I think it was like 7, 8, but like around that. So I agree, like the beginning of her career, her dating life was it's the topic. It's still like the subject of like conversation.
Gets a little, sensitive about it too.
Yeah, I think now she probably doesn't write, especially like I said, she's been in a relationship for a lot of years, these most recent. She writes from not just like her own experiences now. Like I think at the beginning of career, it was very much like, okay, yeah, this is about Joe Jonas. Whereas now it's more like conceptual like ideas that really interest her. But I think because she has been in a relationship for so long and I'm not like personally a Swiftie. I respect the craft. I respect her. But I don't really listen to her music personally, but a lot of like Taylor Swift fans really did not necessarily like her last boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, I believe his name is. And because she was in a relationship for forever, now that she's not, and because dating, like her dating life has always been a thing in her career, of course people are going to be obsessed with who is she going to date next. You know what I mean? Because it's just always been a thing. Right. And then I saw this, I think it was a TikTok where someone was like, oh, this is like Cinderella and or some sort of like Disney story, and like Travis Kelce is the princess. Taylor Swift is the prince.
Oh, he's the princess. Goodness!
And I cracked up because it kind of feels that way. He's just like it's not small town. Obviously, football is such a huge industry, but in comparison to Taylor Swift's international pop star status, it is like small town.
Yeah, I mean, like, we are conditioned to think that America is the world,
the end all be all.
But no, NFL is very self-contained to this country. Right. Literally, no one else plays football. Yeah, not a single other country, and we only have 300 million people. The NFL only gets 120 viewers at the most.
120 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that. 120 million viewers at the most. And Taylor Swift is internationally recognized.
Yeah.
Even just in the UK. Like, you don't have to be like crazy worldwide Michael Jackson levels of fame, but like, they know her in Australia.
Yeah.
They don't know Travis Kelce in Australia. I didn't know who Travis Kelce was until he started dating Taylor Swift.
For sure.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's for a lot, maybe not a lot. I don't know. It's like in the States, people probably knew about Travis Kelce. I knew about Travis Kelce before Taylor Swift because of just like, I think there's like I forget what her name is. It was a recent Bachelorette, but she basically like on social media shot her shot on the internet with him.
Like brick that
and
shit.
It obviously didn't. Obviously nothing happened from it. But I followed her and so I saw it. So that was kind of how I knew of this human. But I think the two questions here. The first being, do you think it's a PR or a real relationship? PR relationship or a real one?
Why would Taylor Swift do a PR relationship?
Exactly. Why does she need one? Tell him, Jem.
I don't know. I see no reason for her to stoop that low. Yeah. When she herself is a media company, she's a marketing company, her existence is PR.
Right.
So why would you need to date a football player to
bring yourself,
like blow up your brand? You are the brand. Like, you're good.
Like, she's already
you're doing this crazy tour. Like, she's
already sold out.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, right now her brand is super girls girl. Like the way that she's been helping out Sophie Turner and like in the media. Like,
I did not know anything about that.
So they've been like, I mean, even Sophie Turner was there with her at the most recent football game.
I did see that. Yeah.
But she took her out to dinner in New York, has let her stay in her like New York apartment. As like Sophie Turner's going through this divorce and this custody battle with Joe Jonas.
Damn.
So like, just like the simple fact that Taylor Swift has allied with Sophie Turner, that alone is such a statement and really benefits and helps Sophie Turner in that regard.
Right.
Just because of the positive like image that Taylor Swift has, right? So I agree. I don't think she necessarily needed to have like a new relationship.
At least not for
with
the
like an
sake.
NFL dude.
Yeah.
Like, not super necessary in my opinion. And
for the
honestly not
sake
super
of
necessary for him
publicity.
either.
Yeah, he was good.
He was doing great, you know? Like, he's like
he won a couple
apparently
Super Bowls.
Apparently he's like supposed to be the best tight like in like history of NFL. Like, he's a really, really good player.
Wow.
Yeah. And him and his brother have like their podcast that's super popular. He had a dating show.
Really?
He did a dating show called Catching Kelsey like it was years ago.
Right.
Probably it looked like 2015, 2016 vibes given the way that he was dressing. You know what I mean?
The
like,
way
it
you could
looked
like tell what year it was based on how someone's putting
Looks
outfits
like-
together.
like, yeah, exactly.
2015, for sure.
Right.
100%.
No, literally.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he did like, even that was definitely before his career really popped off. But he
Right.
did a dating show called Catching Kelsey.
That sounds like a really fun show.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think neither one of them necessarily needed that PR, but
So because they didn't need PR, it's automatically real.
and that's what I'm just like, I just am gonna believe that. Like, I don't know. I really want to believe that it's just real.
That's the hopeless romantic talking.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, it would just be so darn cute. So darn cute, because even the way that he looked at her in the first game that she went to, the one where she was in the box with his mom, and the way he had like looked up at her, and she was like, it was just adorable. It's really like a Cinderella story.
And to that point, I think they're the best match relationship she's been in a while.
That is what literally everyone's saying, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
I feel like I have not heard a single person be like, this is like a weird, like, why, you know what I mean? Like,
Like
they
her and
seem
Tom
like
Hiddleston or whatever.
Right.
Like, why are you with him?
Right. It just didn't seem like the personalities didn't seem to match. Like,
Yeah.
this feels like he seems to be a very like flamboyant, like out there, like extroverted dude. And
She's Taylor Swift. So.
yeah, and she's Taylor Swift. And I don't know.
I wish her nothing but the best. I don't have hate for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I just have hate for her fans.
For sure. For sure. I feel indifferent towards them as well.
I'm only angry because of how like they go to bat for her on things that don't necessarily need to be Like they're very up in arms all the time. Say anything bad about Taylor Swift and they're like ready to crucify you.
She's the sweetest goddess
like,
angel.
First of all, you don't know her. Second of all, she doesn't know you.
Right.
Third of all, she's not above critique.
Yeah, this is very true.
So relax.
This is very true.
But at the same time, I respect Taylor Swift for creating such a devout fan base.
Yeah, she really knows her crowd.
The Swifties make moves.
Yeah. They really do.
Move makers. They are like
they are
world
moving and
shakers. Like, come on, that's just
really
crazy. They do shit.
They make shit happen.
They do. They do. And I really wish that I could cultivate a fan base like that. But, there's a reason why I don't do stuff like that. Because I would not use that for good.
There's a dark underbelly,
I would be like, all right, guys, next level of business.
Let's unionize.
Some crazy conspiracy shit.
Talk about devolving into some political
Right. We're not going to take it there. Not today.
Yeah, not
not today. Not right now. But speaking of fans not knowing celebrities and stuff like that, my pop culture thing that's been circling the interwebs has been this weird fight that SZA has been having with one of her fans.
What is up with these people?
If you don't know the story,
fans?
First of all, that's a really
that first question.
At your big status,
with all that money,
why do you care about what the peasants think? Right. That's like the kings of the aristocracy caring about what the little peasant lady was writing to her sister.
Right.
That's really what it is. If you don't know what's happening, SZA was reacting to a meme that was made about her that validly made her feel bad, gave her anxiety about a situation that's been happening in the past. And it was really triggering for her.
Yeah.
Girl made a meme, posted it, tagged SZA in it.
What was the situation?
It had to do with her performance. The meme itself is SZA's whack.
Oh.
And they would send that and post that stuff while they were at her concert. And just being a celebrity and performing is one of the craziest things that a person has to do. It's not a small thing. And she was talking about how when you're doing it, you're never sure if you're doing a good job. And SZA has anxiety, and it is a thing that she thinks about as she's performing. It's do you enjoy what I'm doing right now? Is this a good enough performance? I'm putting myself out there into the world.
Right.
It's a very difficult thing to do. And so when they were talking about SZA's whack, she got really offended because she's appealing to the better nature of their humanity, talking about, I just want you to have a little bit of empathy and just understand that I'm a human being that gets offended and affected by these things you post. These memes and these jokes, while seemingly innocent to you, don't exist in a vacuum. And I see them and I'm affected by it. Right?
Totally.
Sure.
Valid.
Very fair, very valid. It is what it is. The girl that posted it, this 18-year-old girl, saw that message or saw that comment on the post, deleted that shit, and moved on. SZA took it upon herself to DM said girl.
Wait, really? After?
Yeah, after she deleted it, SZA DM'd the girl and basically saying I didn't appreciate this. Why'd you delete my comment?
Yeah.
This is just something I don't like, and whatever. I don't think that's a crazy thing to do.
So so SZA was using her post as basically a platform to kind of speak to all of her fans of just so you know.
This is not a thing. It's
right. It wasn't
and she said a comment you guys aren't even human.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was calling them not human. Even if she was that's not that insulting. Because basically you guys are not being human right now. Right. And I'm a human being too. Things affect me. Comment got deleted. She DM'd the girl, basically saying a similar thing. And the girl kind of got really offended, and she was really defensive because why is this celebrity coming for me in my DMs? I don't think SZA was really coming for her in the DMs. SZA was over explaining a thing that in my opinion didn't necessarily need to be explained to the extent that SZA was explaining it to a person that was as irrelevant as this girl.
Right.
And people are over here talking about the validity of feelings and the entitlement of fans and the bullying and the, what do you call it? The weaponizing of psychological terms and stuff like that. You can take it there if you want it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it necessarily needs to go in that space.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need to go there.
At the end of the day, this is how I see it. SZA is a celebrity, and she's been a celebrity for years. She is not new to like just the angst that comes from being a celebrity.
Right.
People are gonna talk shit about you. People are gonna criticize you. People are gonna hate on you.
Yeah.
Whether they're your fan or not, whether it's a joke or not, no matter how you interpret it.
Yeah.
You made the decision to be famous. This is what fame comes with.
Right.
Not to say that you don't get to feel how you feel about whatever fame comes with, but to go out of your way and be in a stranger's, a little girl's DMs about how you feel and why you feel and explaining that you feel. To me, that's just kind of a waste of your time as like a big celebrity. Like, I want you to have better things to do with your time than to devote energy into a person that's not receptive, doesn't care, owes you nothing. You owe her nothing. It's just like, it seemed just genuinely like a waste of time.
It might have been a better use of her time to like, if she really wanted that comment out there and she saw that she deleted the post, to just tweet it out.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like,
tweet it, make a little short video about it.
Right. Like, saw this or whatever, it got me thinking, like, you know, she deleted the post, but I thought this was important to say. Say your piece. Not DMing the girl directly.
Yeah, DMing the girl directly. I just feel like you could have used that entire moment better. And now this girl, she's demonizing SZA and making it seem really whatever it is, and it's like she's the victim of this entire thing. And honestly, for all intents and purposes, she can be a victim. Whatever, I don't care.
I care. No, you don't get to be a victim for that either.
Also, like,
everyone in this situation is being dramatic.
It's very dramatic, but her drama got her 40 million views.
Jesus
and
Christ.
All this attention, right?
Right.
It's like, SZA, you're up. Right? You're up. You're famous. You're rich.
You're above this.
You should be above this.
At this point in your
And then the fact that you stooped low to the level of these peasants, you lost, girl.
She should have done what Ariana Grande did. I forget exactly what it was, but people had been I think it was about her weight, how skinny she was, and there were so many comments out there, memes, whatever, talking about her weight.
And she made a video.
And she was like, just letting you guys know, like, that she should have done something like that, taken a page out of her book, but like directly DMing this, like you said, 18-year-olds.
It's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of pathetic for a celebrity.
Yeah,
because another narrative that was in this whole situation was that celebrities are humans too. And this girl wasn't doing anything that people don't do, because people have a habit of robbing celebrities of their humanity.
Right.
The moment you're creating something and putting yourself out there and becoming a brand, you supersede humanity. Right. So naturally, you don't get to be a human anymore. Yeah. That's valid. It is what it is. But the gripe that SZA has with that isn't on an individual level. Right. Her commenting and explaining all that stuff in the DMs did absolutely nothing. And I think like these like celebrities, even like Doja Cat to some degree, like clapping back to her fans. It's like people are not commenting because, as you are saying, these fans and these people on the internet do not know you personally. Right. So they're not commenting on you as a person or you personally. They're commenting on the brand, the artist that you are presenting to them and to the public on a daily basis. So just like, I don't know, I feel like you as an artist just need to learn how to like compartmentalize those two like lives. You have your personal life and you have your public persona that you are presenting to the world. Persona. Yeah. And being okay with like that way you're not getting your feelings hurt by some 18-year-old making a meme because she's not commenting on you. Yeah. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't care about you. Exactly. And you shouldn't care about her to that extent. Right. To DM her. To that extent. Like, celebrities aren't human to their fans, but like fans are also not humans to their celebrities. Right. You don't know them. There's no personal connection there. They're means to an end. Yeah. So, money, fame, wealth. Whoa. You sound like the intro to an anime right now. Like, that's crazy. Do I? You do. Anyways, that's One Piece. It's relevant right now. Gotcha. We'll talk about it some other time. Gotcha. But yeah, so I was just like, the fact that this became what it was is kind of crazy. And 40 million views is wild. For that is kind of nuts. But it's just like, I would have loved to see SZA not fall victim to perspectives from the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like SZA should be better than that. Everything that I love about SZA, everything that she talks about, everything that she sings about,
Right.
her persona that she created, feels like it should be above that.
Yeah. I agree.
And again, not invalidating her feeling, just commenting on her methods.
Right.
Because there's just some things that you can and cannot do when you
pick your battles.
Yeah. Pick your battles. Pick your battles, and preferably not with children.
Yeah. Literally.
Internet. young strangers on the internet.
Right. Who are clearly chronically online. Like, just let them
be chronically online, and you live your life.
Right.
Cry in your mansion. Wipe your tears with your dollar bills. And be okay.
And be okay. Honey. Be
because
okay.
SZA, you're not whack. Just for the record, you're not whack.
Not
SZA.
the directing to the camera.
You know, like, I just have to hear it from me. I'll tag you in this post that I make it. You are not whack, girl. We love you. Yes. And this unblack little girl, not in your corner. We are. We love you. Keep doing you. Stop responding to these dumb bitches.
Yes. I agree.
And that's that on that.
Let's move on. Let's move on then.
Moving right along then. Cheerio.
My gosh, yes.
All right. That stuff.
Cheerio. All right. Should we get into our the topic of the day?
Which one do you want to start with?
I know. There's like I was actually thinking about that.
I feel like career is the most boring.
So get that out of the way.
Before we get into like the social, because social is so expansive in college. I actually think college is just a social experiment.
100%.
I use experiment very liberally. I don't think it's like an experiment in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But it very much is social.
Yeah.
More than any other component that college offers, the social aspect is the most relevant in my opinion. And then personal. Let's do personal last. Because personal is really personal. Social is very like in the middle. Yeah. And career is very like cliche.
Yeah.
So
100%.
We can start from there.
All right.
So career, you can lead it, miss.
We'll start with career. When I was thinking about like the career aspect of like even just looking back and what I wish I did more when I was in college, I realized it kind of what you want to take from it can be different depending on whether you want to go to grad school or whether you want to like immediately or like plan to immediately go into the workforce like once you're out of it.
Right.
Because I feel like for me, like looking back, I wish that I had done more internships, talked to my professors more, like learned how to network.
Right.
And
professionally.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think there was one more thing? Well, I feel like I joined groups in organizations. So I feel like the things that I really wanted to like go back and just do, I wish I did more of, was like join more groups and organizations, which I did, but I feel like I could have done more and just like participate more, but also doing more internships and also just like talking more to my professors who were in the field that I was like interested in. And even just for the sake of like learning how to better network in general, which kind of goes into like with interning and like joining like all like the plethora of groups that college campuses have to offer.
Yeah. College in many ways is a fast track into the corporate space.
Oh, 100%.
So not utilizing it for that is a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. Because it's even more than I really realized once I graduated. And granted, me personally had a unique graduation experience. Shout out class of 2020.
Yeah, class of 2020. That still to
I'm gonna
this
cry.
day. To this day is insane.
I literally can't imagine it any other way. I didn't walk. I also got offered, obviously, like we went to UC Irvine. Woo, zot.
Zot. I hate that. Zot, motherfuckers.
Anyways. But they did offer to let us walk. And I think some people from my class did do this.
Charles walked, yeah.
Yeah, walked like the next, I don't know, that December or something like that.
When it was safe.
Right, whatever. Like quote unquote,
COVID wasn't real.
Right, exactly. But by that point, and I knew I would feel that way. By that point, it would have been just like so stupid. So like, I'm already over it. Like I've moved on. But one thing I really realized once I had graduated and was like, when I got to a place where I could then apply to spots, because there was obviously a moment where no one was hiring for me, was that I like the GPA, and I've heard this being said over and over and over again from like multiple sources. So we're beating a dead horse here, but your GPA really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, of course, have a solid GPA. I remember graduating. I graduated with a 3.2 GPA.
Yeah, don't get kicked out of school.
Right, exactly. Don't get kicked out of school. I failed a couple classes, which I will go into the social, because there was reasons why I failed those classes.
Let's get into it. That's interesting. See how much more interesting that sounds?
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. But go on.
Yeah, and I remember being just like absolutely like I'm a POS. Like I like just feeling absolutely like crap about myself when that happened.
What's POS stand for?
Piece of shit.
Oh shit. I was like, POS, point of sale. Like, what's going on?
Point of sale. I'm dead.
Restaurant life.
Right, literally. If you've worked in a restaurant, you know. But I remember being so like even disappointed when I did graduate of like, I only got a 3.2 GPA. Like it's gonna, and granted, a GPA does matter when you want to go to grad school. Like that does play an aspect.
Right.
But even when you want to go to grad school, having like references, like professors that you like really connected with, to give you references for going to like grad school, that's like super important. But I wish that I didn't care so much about like, I need to have like a 3.6 or higher or whatever, like stress myself out so much about it, because once I graduated, it wasn't about the numbers. It was just about who I knew.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it's also funny too, because even if you have like a piss poor GPA, absolute shit, like 2.4, you can still go to grad school.
You can swing it 100%.
And it's just about taking the classes and the remedial stuff that you can do post undergrad.
Right.
And like getting passing grades in that. You can go into a grad school, maybe not Yale or something.
Top of the top,
But
sure.
there's a lot of paths. And I think career-wise, that's kind of my takeaway as well. For me, going into college wanting to do something, I went into college because it was a thing that I was told I needed to do to be successful. And that was my biggest takeaway. Knowing what I know now, I don't think I would have went to college. Or I wouldn't have went straight to university.
Gotcha.
Or I would have at least considered what is going on after college.
Gotcha.
Because college makes a lot of sense for careers that have a very strict education path. So STEM, basically, computer science, even on some levels, business.
Yeah, business. If you wanted to go into like certain like
Business admin stuff.
or like a certain government fields, there's like a fast track through like college, like campuses that you can do.
So there's stuff in that capacity. I think college really helps. But I went into college as an art major and I double majored in psychology.
Right.
Knowing absolutely like I didn't have.
Why were you there?
No, literally, like it's a joke, but also that's how I feel about it. I didn't learn academically. I learned nothing in college that I didn't already know. All the information that I was absorbing was not my classes. I was top of my class because I wrote the best essay my first year. Because again, I was a super overachiever in high school.
Same.
I was taking like crazy college classes.
Yeah.
Competing with like Japanese international kids. Like we were at the top of the top, the cream of the crop type stuff. We were on top of it. And I thought college was just like the next level of that.
Like you were going to be really intellectually like challenged.
Intellectually stimulated, challenged, all that stuff. What ended up happening was I was already at the level that college was in high school. So one, I was 100% disappointed. And I was like, oh, this is
huge disappointment.
Yeah, like, this is just not as challenging as I thought it was. The work wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about GEs because I know if I was like an engineer or something, I would have had a much more.
Yeah. All my friends who were like computer science or like on like the pre-med track, like, very different.
They were a little more stressed out for
constantly.
sure. But I don't think they were stressed out because it was hard information. I think they were
Their
more...
professors made it difficult for them.
And I think they were more stressed out because it was just a lot of information.
Yeah.
Not because it was hard information.
This is very true.
Because it was just a lot. Because those people had to do like 4 chapters a week on really dense material that they had like barely any time to prepare for.
Right.
Like it's just a lot of things, like especially biology, memorization.
Yeah.
You have to memorize the most minute detail of what ATP does and what part of the cell and how it goes through which membrane. Like
my brain
it's
hurts
just
already.
A lot. It's just a lot, and those lines can be crossed very quickly. So I don't think it's necessarily a hard thing, and because it wasn't very difficult, I didn't value it as much. I also went to college on scholarship. So
same. Woo!
Yeah,
scholarship
poor
kids.
people. Let's go. It was like, I really wish I utilized the career aspect more by knowing what I wanted to do. Like if I went into like just having a general idea of what makes money post college, I would have been in computer science. 100%. I would have been a computer scientist.
But like also too, you don't even I guess it depends on how like, but you also seem like the type of person who could do this, because even I knew somebody who was not a computer science major at all, and they just learned programming on their own.
That's literally what I did.
And like, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like they learned programming on their, and now they literally like they work for startups. Like they don't even do like anything within their like major at all.
Right.
Like they just I think they were some social sciences major, taught themselves programming on the side, and literally have the same job that some of my friends who were computer science majors doing the exact same thing, making the exact same money.
Yeah.
You know?
That's 100% exactly what I did. But why not do it in college if I have to be there anyways, right?
No, totally.
So that's really where I'm coming from. Because I did, after I graduated with my art degree.
Not you chuckling at yourself. Yeah, tell us about that art degree. How do you feel about it?
Man. It was so fun. So it lent me the opportunity to do what I actually enjoyed college for, which is the social aspect.
Right.
It wasn't hard.
You weren't like stressing out about school so
at
heavily.
all.
So
my drawing is due at midnight. Like it literally was, and it was not hard. And sometimes I didn't do it, and they gave me another day, and I did it. It was fine. Like, the lowest stress major of all time.
So if you just want to go to college for a good time, not a long time,
art major is where it is, and they know it.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I was never up in arms about people judging the art degrees. They're like, no, this is a real major.
Yeah. I feel like people only feel that way if they're like an actual artist, but like you don't need to have a major, an art major, to be an artist.
It's really hard to educate art, and that's what all my teachers were saying too. It's like you either got it or you don't. I was like, oh, why are we here?
Right, no, literally, why is this a program that is being offered?
No, but yeah. So after I graduated with my art degree, I somehow made my way into the tech world.
Yeah,
and from a non-technical position, I learned coding, and I got into a technical position.
Right.
So you can definitely do that. You don't have to go to school to learn technical things, but
in hindsight,
I would have been like, you should do something that, and this, my parents told me this too, right? And it's not like I didn't want to listen to them. I just didn't want to do what they were telling me to do. So they're like, oh, you should like the classical, like you should be an engineer. Like you're smart enough to be like a doctor. You should do that.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go to university, right? Be an engineer, be a doctor.
Totally.
Be a lawyer if you don't want to do like the math stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do any of that.
You're like, no, thank you.
I really don't want to be I really don't want to be a lawyer. I really don't want to be a doctor. I really don't want to be an engineer.
Yeah.
And since that was the only thing told to me, that's the only thing I thought was available. Either you work in fast food, or you
are a doctor,
and a lawyer, engineer, or a teacher.
Right.
Like, that was literally all.
No in between.
There's nothing in between.
That sounds like such classic like immigrant parents.
No,
like you literally have like the most classic.
I was like, there was all these possibilities of what you could be.
Yeah.
And it was exposed to me at the time when I was in college, but I didn't appreciate that it was there, right? Like I saw that there was a computer science major. It didn't interest me. I was like, oh, computers. I didn't understand the significance of anything back then.
Right.
And I wasn't questioning anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. And I don't want to be an engineer.
here we are.
So I'll be an artist.
Yeah.
Like that's a really weird segue. I don't know why I chose that specifically. But I do appreciate the art major because it taught me critical thinking.
Okay.
Whereas everything else is rote memorization and a lot of just like learning what people did before.
Yeah.
Art 100% was about carving your own path. And the best professors that I had encouraged students to do that.
I love that.
Like questioning your own thoughts, questioning the status quo, being avant-garde. And I was like, wow, that's really useful.
Yeah.
And criticize the art major all you want. That one skill is better than any other skill you can learn from education.
To go into the world after.
I'm not a freaking bot, y'all.
Yeah.
That's why I have a podcast. Not a bot.
Hear me roar. Why? Sorry.
Stop this.
I said this earlier, guys.
Anyways, mine, but yeah, so
and that also that makes me think like if you're not going to be a STEM major going into college, I want to say if you're going to do any of those like social science majors, do it with because you also plan to go to grad school. I feel like that is really when it then becomes more useful.
Right. Because the information that you're learning in undergrad for those social sciences, relatively useless.
Yeah.
I knew all of that from reading psychology textbooks before I even got to college.
And it could definitely be fun because, I mean, I know for myself, like I was an international relations major and I
did not know that. Holy shit.
Jem, what the actual heck?
You were what?
You did not know international studies? You did not know that was my major? What did you think my major was this whole time?
Never thought about it, to be honest.
How did I know what your major was? That is hilarious. Well, okay.
Crazy.
To give Jem credit, as a friend, even though you sound like a horrible friend right now, I came in undecided. I started off undecided.
Okay. For me?
And I'm pretty sure, well, actually, I don't know. We might have, by the time, I think once we had met, once I auditioned for the a cappella group, I might have still been undecided or about to be.
That first year type stuff.
I think it was like the first, I think after the first quarter, I was decided. But
and we were not talking about school at
we
all,
were not.
first of
We
all.
were
And
singing
then
our little
you ignored me
hearts
for a
away.
year, and then
Okay,
3
it
years.
didn't happen in that much of succession.
And then years 3 and 4, we
Yeah.
were not talking about school. In your 4th year, you were like COVID out. So
Yeah.
like conversations about your college wasn't really happening in like what
maybe.
you're studying, what's your test, you have a final, like that wasn't the conversation we ever had.
I think probably because most of my, like you already graduated.
Yeah,
like that
I was
wasn't,
gone.
you weren't talking about, we only ever talked about what Jem was interested in. No, I'm just
True.
kidding.
It's true, but you were also interested in it.
No,
It is
but
what
it
is.
was not,
But
it was
yeah.
not
I
necessarily
was also
relevant.
a 4th year when she came in, so
Yeah.
I did not care what the freshmen were studying.
Yeah.
That
we were
just wasn't my focus.
Two completely different mindsets. But yeah, weird full circle moment in terms of like me caring about my mental health and then wanting to go into therapy, which is arguably even more horrible for your mental health potentially.
But the
depending.
trade-off, right?
Yeah.
The impact.
I definitely feel like more, and I think that's also part of it. It's a tough, when talking to college kids or people going into college about like what to focus on in terms of career and like major and all that. It's hard to give like exact advice because so much can change. And you could, like me, I think I was pretty spot on in terms of like what I studied and what I'm still interested in now as a 25-year-old or almost 25-year-old. And, but some people, that's not the case. And honestly, even the in-between, I've been doing like this podcast, doing a lot of social media stuff. I was been doing modeling. You know, if modeling took off in a way that was super lucrative, like I could have easily gone down that direction, you know. Fashion, glamour, style, Devil Wears Prada.
Wow.
All that good stuff.
Anna Wintour.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. Which still always a possibility.
Right.
Never say never, right? Still modeling. But so it kind of makes it, I don't know, for myself, like talking to like those people, where to like give exact advice. I always say like, I don't know, go with what, or at least what I did, I just went with what I found to be the most interesting. And honestly, I'm not mad that I went in undecided, like, to school. I know that some people say, and you can go in with a major and then change it like later for sure. Cause I know that there's some, if you apply to a college undecided, you're less likely to get in. Mm-hmm. So if it's like you really like the school, whatever. But I really just focused on what was I really interested in that moment, and do that. Especially in your first year, you can change it. There is some wiggle room, but then really just focus in on like what organizations do you want to like be a part of, because that's more like you can join something and then decide like, oh, that's not the direction I want to go, and immediately drop that, try new things, etc., and really hone in on that aspect of college. Really tap in, because there's so many resources from college, like, and access to like people that no one taps into enough, and professors and people always talk about it when you're in college.
Talk to your professors more
about how little they are like
utilized.
Used. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, we want to be used. Use us, please.
We're here literally for that.
Exactly.
And we don't do it.
Even Matthew, who's still in school now, and I think because he's older, finishing out his bachelor's, there's a little less like, I feel like when you're that young, you're a little bit more self-conscious about doing that. Mm-hmm. But seeing him, he so just like unashamed, like talks to us like really after class, like goes into in-depth conversations with his professors all the time, really forms these relationships, and how much that really benefits him, even like in the class. And like, not to say this is the reason why you should use talk to professor, but like things happen, needing to like submit an essay like a day late, like if they like you, they'll give you like some leeway. Like it's a win-win situation here.
That's true.
I
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's actually like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also didn't really turn things in late, so.
Yeah.
Be responsible.
I'm not going to be responsible.
Going in with what you're interested in, way to do it. I also, if I was going to do it again, I would do with what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Like not even, because there's always a conversation, right? Should you do something that's going to be productive? Should you do something that you enjoy? I feel like enjoying it is secondary. Like I was really good at math.
Yeah.
I should have leaned into something math related.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at it. And math is more relevant than art in terms of like making a career out of it.
Right.
And if you're going to go into a non-STEM field, have a very specific path of where you want to take that.
Have a vision for sure.
Because if not, it really is kind of a waste of time, because undergrad isn't guiding you in a direction in terms of those social sciences. It's giving you general information. Because
we're talking to 17 and 18-year-old, like people just who graduated high school. Like if you're going in and knowing you want to do some sort of like social sciences major, I think it's okay, I guess, to not have like a specific like vision, because you are young and you're formulating your vision. But allow that first year, your freshman year, or maybe even like, I guess, first semester or whatever, to really explore. I'm going to keep saying like explore like the resources that like the campus has, like organization groups and stuff like that, to then formulate that vision that you want.
And
you have to interact with it.
You have to make that a priority, because as fun and as important as the social aspect of college is, college is designed for the careers.
Yeah.
Like the point of college is to hopefully get a career from it, even though it's really wrapped around the social aspect. College is designed for people to move up the social ladder. So prioritize that. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
I think prioritizing your career is really important because one, that's the reason you go to college, to get a better like foundation for where you're going to go. And then two, it's the thing that matters the most. Yeah. Like after college, like sure, having fun, socializing, doing all the cool stuff, dating, whatever, really interesting, really fun in the moment. Yeah. But 4 years after college, you're really going to appreciate that really stable 9 to 5 way more than how many shots you took when you turned 21, right? Like,
no, I'm still thinking about that.
Really? Oh my God. How many shots did you take? Like,
no, this is very
does not
true.
Matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So first year specifically, get it out of the way, prioritize it, figure out where you're going to go. And then second year, go crazy. Yeah. Go stupid.
Second year.
Hey, fuck it up.
Oh my my God, that's funny. It is like the second year in college feels like the crazy year to like, I don't know if it was the same for you, but high school, the juniors were like the crazy kids. And then, but in college, it's the second years that are the crazy
I was
kids.
not crazy in high school. Like I said,
I wasn't crazy at all either. But just like the perception of like
juniors are
the years.
Really like, yeah, go insane.
Right.
Because they just turned 16.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
This is true. They can just start driving.
They can drive
yeah. This is actually true. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. But no, I agree. I was also an overachiever. And in
late
high
night
school,
parties, I have to study.
I never went to a party, not do any of that. I graduated with a 4.0 GPA.
Yeah.
Granted, there were girls who also graduated with a 4.0 GPA and had a much better social life than I.
There you go. So what were you doing?
I was depressed.
Oh my God. I at least had a 4.3. So
well, gosh.
like if you're gonna have a social life, at least have something to show for it. 4.0, everybody can do that. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Shoot a girl while she's down.
We are literally not gonna qualify your high school experience. No. Oh my goodness. The stakes are so low.
Look,
you turned out okay. Right?
Look,
right?
That gave me pause. I'm not gonna lie. I hope I turned out okay. I actually did. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's all like I really have to say on like the career aspect is just focus on school more than you think, but not necessarily the classes. Like you don't stress out about getting some crazy like GPA. Really focus on like the resources that like a college campus can provide you. The networking, the career trajectory, utilize the free like career counselors, all of these like really tap into that. The study abroad, like I don't know if that's more like social, which we're gonna get into next.
I would say it's kind of in between.
Yeah, it kind of depends.
It's much easier to study abroad in college than it is to just go abroad in general.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wish I did.
I'm so happy that I did. Because I have not gone abroad since.
Damn.
Well, I won 2020.
Oh yeah.
But also,
I realize how like recent it was since you've graduated. Like you haven't been out of college for
long enough. Yeah, it's really 3 years. It's been 3 years, so
makes Mexico a lot more relevant.
Yeah, me going to Mexico, wanting to go to Mexico.
Yeah, oh wow, this mattered a little bit more than I gave you credit before. Like I knew it mattered, but like it's just another layer, right? Like and she's still hasn't gone.
I haven't left the country
like,
since Morocco. Yeah, so I feel a little upset about that. It's fine, but that being said, with studying abroad, we can just kind of go into like the social aspect. Oh, the social aspect.
Before we go into that, I'll say one more thing about careers.
Okay.
In the vein of utilizing the resources, think of college as a tool, a career tool.
Yes. That's all I have to say.
But no, that's
a good perspective to have on it.
Like the idea of college that you go into it and you're going to be educated on something. But it's not so much an education as it is a stepping stone to what you want to do in the future. And there's so many options. Your future's so varied, right?
Yeah.
And people go in there trying to get an education where it's like, yes and no. You should be educated on how to better your future, not necessarily on a subject specifically.
Yeah. So. It's one long 4-year-long career fair.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
A 4-year-long career fair.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to a single one of those. Not a single one.
Me neither.
Like, opportunity missed for sure. But hey, like I failed up. I somehow like
you really were able to figure out a way because
it worked for me because
yeah.
In retrospect, most people do not have the opportunity and the relative success that I achieved doing what I did in college
with the way that you did it.
That was props to the universe for that one because that was wild.
I don't know.
That could have gone south very quickly.
I think it's props to the way that you're able to like
adapt and apply
and get yourself into spaces that you don't necessarily have like experience in.
That's true.
But I think that's the thing that you necessarily don't have to. You never necessarily had to learn in what I what the reasons why I'm telling people to join like organizations, like the networking aspect, the talking yourself up. You really learn that skill that you already knew by doing that said thing.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
On this vein of like talk yourself up and confidence and stuff like that. People apply ability, they attribute ability to self-assuredness. So I never doubted myself in anything. So we're like, oh, he could probably do this job.
Yeah.
And good. Because every job that you'll get outside of college can be learned on the job. But it's the unsureness, the I don't know if I fit in this space. Can I be here? Yeah. That really ruins your chances.
Adults really talk up how difficult jobs are until you are in the adult world and you're like, obviously outside of like those like STEM, doctor, lawyer, whatever. Like
even those at the top of their craft, corporate America is the biggest sham of all time.
Damn, not you calling out the doctors.
I don't know what it is about how these adults were talking to us when we were kids about how difficult things were and how like you work really hard. And maybe it's because they were putting stuff out the mud, right? Maybe they were creating all this stuff. Startups are relatively difficult.
Yeah.
But you work for like these established companies, it's insane.
Yeah.
What you get away with.
And also just like what their actual like job just like description is, like what people do in their jobs on a day-to-day basis. Like I make like $200K a year and I'm like, I don't know. It's so funny to me.
I'm the chief director, operational staff level 3.
Right. And you're basically like a glorified like event planner. You know what I mean? Like,
literally. Literally.
But it
you
sounds
manage
like
people's schedules. Okay.
Exactly. It's so like even I worked as an office assistant for like 2 years, right, in college. And all the stuff I was helping out these people with, like they're making like solid, like these office ladies make like good like money. Like UCI paid,
low 6-figure type.
Paid them well. They were just like glorified like professional organizers. You know what I mean? They just be organized documents and like made graphs. Like there's a lot of fluff. So much fluff.
A lot of fluff.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's a conversation for another time. Let's go into what we actually want to talk about and how fun college is, because it's this beautiful microcosm of relatively intelligent, very attractive young people that are all in the same age with absolutely no adult supervision.
For the first time in all these people's lives.
Oh my goodness.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
The most beautiful chaos I find. It's like the most beautiful chaos that's socially accepted in the world, because it's unlike anything you can ever experience. Your ability to make friends, your ability to access social events, your ability to find like-minded people. Yeah. As an adult that's been out of college for 6 years, I have a newfound appreciation for how difficult it is to access just like-minded people. And that's coming from me. I worked for one of the top companies of the world. We had over 100,000 employees. I went from one little microcosm of college little situation to another college situation.
College
it's like, oh, now we get paid to be here. Like, it's really the same thing. And it was still harder. It was more cliquey. The sales team was with the sales team. The engineers were with the engineers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't like that. The open-mindedness and the connectivity that you find in college, I think there's nothing else on the planet that's like it. At least in America.
Wow. Mic drop.
Yeah.
That was quite a description of the social sphere.
That's how I feel about it.
But you're so right though. You're so right. It is quite the experience.
And two, I think I'm so passionate about it because, they say that people graduate and they like glorify college, right? They want to go back. Like, I miss college. I wish I was right there. I don't miss college in that way.
Same.
But I appreciate the people that I had access to. Because even now, I fantasize about having just a big group of people, not necessarily to hang out with all the time, but just people that I really like, that I'm like, hey guys, let's go to Vegas. Yeah. And like they'd be down.
There's
and we could do
always
it.
A group to do that. Yeah.
And college was like that, and I really miss that aspect of college, and I've been trying to recreate that in my adult life. Yeah. To no avail. To absolutely no avail.
It's tough to do because also too, when you're trying to do that in your adult life, you're grabbing people that you met from different parts of life and then trying to bring them together.
And two, people are not as free as they were in college.
I'm not as free. Yeah. Like, goddamn.
9 to 5 is a long time.
Right.
Every day for 5 days.
Yeah.
That's 2/3 of your day.
Yeah.
That you can't do shit.
Right. It's pretty intense. I agree.
And then like you don't live around those same people anymore. So it's like, oh, he's coming from San Francisco. They're coming from Texas. We're going to New York. Like the movement aspect. So it's like
people kind of spread out. Yeah. It is funny though. I do see a lot of people from like our Greek life still all live in like the relatively the same areas.
And they hang out all the time.
And I think I think it's like maybe I don't know if it's like a 50-50 situation where I think it's more likely that your college friends, you'll be able to carry that out into your adult life more than like your high school friends into college.
Right. And I think if I was in Greek life all 4 years, I would have had more of that.
Yeah.
I would have cared about those people more.
Right.
But I didn't connect with them past what we did.
Right. Yeah, because you only did it that one, like your last year. Yeah.
And it was 100% a means to an end.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we can even talk about that in terms of the social aspect because we both did Greek life and not for our whole entire college experience. And I'm really happy that I did it. I think it really, because as same as you, I think I really focused in on the social aspect of college. As we had already said, high school, I was very much like to myself, really on the grind, and not like I was, girl. Yes, in high school. Are you kidding me? I had a goal, and I was going to achieve it. I was ready to get out of there. I was not
Antelope. I would have been trying to get out of there too. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I understand. Yeah. I get it.
Look, you would be surprised about how many people didn't have as much pep in their step to get out of Antelope as I did.
I'm from Riverside. I 100% understand.
Okay, then exactly. You get it. But yeah, I was very much ready to like get out of get to college, all that kind of stuff. So when I got to school, like to college, I was really just wanting to tap into like the social aspect that I didn't feel like I was able to really do in high school. Also too, like we were just saying, first time you're away from your parents. I had relatively like strict-ish parents, and and by the end of high school, a lot of it, like I was having my like religious awakening. I was like, I don't think I'm a Christian anymore.
Oh my
like,
God,
it was exactly. It was intense, and I was on the worship team. It was a lot of like really intense stuff happening. So then to finally go to school and like not have that over my head and just
whole different
let loose in whatever way.
Freedom, right?
Exactly. I was really, really zoned in on that. So I joined the a cappella group like initially.
I was there for that.
Yeah, right. You were there for my audition.
The only freshman I was there for their audition for, by the way.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, now you
know. Now I know.
I was like, we're definitely having her. And then I left.
Yeah. And then I dipped.
I was rushing a frat that time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is right. You were doing that your fourth year. But I am really glad that I did Greek life. Like I have no regrets about it. Even, as a scholarship kid who I used what I got with my like scholarship or whatever to pay for Greek life. I was really happy that I did it because I don't think I would have had as much access, especially our school specifically, because we did go to UCI. It's not the biggest like party school at all. So you kind of had to join Greek life to really tap into like the party life, going on like, going to Las Vegas, doing like Rosarito,
or just having like a bunch of people that would be down to do that,
to just like get absolutely obliterated on a Tuesday.
Yeah, like it's shocking now, but like that's what we did.
That's literally what we did.
Oh my, yikes! It sounds so insane now.
Yeah,
but.
No, like how did I have
I think Greek life is very relevant. Or Greek life was really useful for that.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest party school. Irvine isn't a party school at all.
No.
It's not even on the map.
No.
So Greek life might not be as important. And I think those party schools also don't have as prolific as a Greek life presence.
Totally.
Because you look at Santa Barbara and they like the Greek life is the Greek life. But
right.
They're
You don't
a party
need it.
school and no one really cares to
Like you don't need Greek life to party like that.
unless you want like what Greek life is for.
Right.
Not
Oh,
for the
philanthropy?
party.
Right.
Philanthropy. Oh my God. The brotherhood. Oh my God. Yay. I love men. Love hanging out with dudes, bro. Like, that's all I want to do. I'm a bros bro. 100%.
It really sounds natural coming out of your mouth.
100%. So unless you're like trying to look for community in that aspect, bigger schools don't need it as much.
Yeah.
Whereas us, you had to be really in the know.
Yeah.
Because my first 3 years, I didn't join Greek life for parties because I knew people that threw parties. And from the sports people to the black people to the Asian people,
Right.
I could sneak my way into any party imaginable.
Yeah.
It was actually a skill. I was the Greek life parties too. They're like, who are you with? I was like, oh, I know so and so. And then some guy's like, oh no, he's cool, bro. I didn't know him. I was like, hey, thanks, bro. That's cool.
Right.
And it was like, how did I get in
See,
here?
your ability to just get into spaces.
Just into spaces. Why do I have that? I don't know. It's crazy. But I utilized it the entire time without even realizing. I'm like appreciating it. And I was like, wow, I really did do that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But until those, actually a funny reason why I joined Greek life. The people that were planning the parties and stuff, they started graduating, right? So I was the senior.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's too much work to talk to girls. I want easier access to women. That's literally what my mindset was. I am
totally.
working too hard to put myself into spaces to talk to women.
Yeah.
I don't want to work that hard anymore.
Right.
I want that to be provided for me. And it was. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is so much easier. The girls are just here and I get to talk to them. I don't have to, all right, bro, what's happening tonight? Oh, you don't know. Hey, yo, bro, what's happening tonight? Hey, yo. It's like, nah, man, that's just crazy. That's a lot of work, especially for a senior. Like I was so lazy.
Like I was not trying to work that hard at that point.
At all. And it, you get what you pay for. That's exactly what I utilize it for.
Yeah. I mean, that is what Greek life, well, it's not what it's for, but like the party like life anyways, right? Like what is that for? It's not just like to hang out with your girls, especially at that age. Like you are trying to just like interact with the opposite sex all the time or
and it
a
was
lot.
not wasted on me.
Yeah.
At all. I knew what I came here for.
I
The
knew
brotherhood.
I knew what I wanted.
The brotherhood, yes. Love that.
It's funny. Even
sausage parties.
Okay, for sure. It's funny though for me, like thinking like back to like me joining Greek life and my mindset because I had, and I think this is like maybe like a lesson that I would go back and maybe do a little bit differently.
Sure.
Especially for people who are maybe like me in this regard, because I don't think everyone is like this. But I joined Greek life kind of off the like end of a relationship, like 3 or 4 months out of one. I feel like I've already talked about this on the podcast before, but going into Greek life, wanting to just like, part of it was actually to make more girlfriends. That was like one of like my biggest things. I was like, I want to like make more girlfriends, but also too kind of what you were saying, just all the hot guys were in Greek life at UCI.
At UCI specifically.
At UCI specifically, like all the hot guys were in Greek life. And so that was a big reason why I joined as well. But it's funny to think about it because then I pretty immediately got into a relationship with one of them.
But it worked. It was working as intended.
It worked really successfully because like I think it was like weeks into me being in Greek life and I met my second boyfriend. So
but
it's just
like that's kind of really how it is, especially for like attractive people.
Yeah.
You just need access.
Yeah.
People that want to be around you, and then like, oh, cool.
Yeah, and then there you go. But I do like in that sense, kind of looking back, I do wish that I focused less on being in romantic relationships while I was in college. I feel like, and I wrote this down for this episode because I went into college with the mindset of like, this is where you find your future husband. And like, I need a date to find my man that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. looking back at it, I hee hee ha ha, because it's such a cute, like, naive idea.
Right.
But I
will tell you, and I will preface this as this is really good advice for girls, because my advice for men is the exact opposite. But you finish yours.
Got you. But yeah, I was so honed in on like finding my future husband in college. And in hindsight, I spent a majority of like relationships take up a lot of your time and energy. And especially in my second relationship I was in, I was spending a lot of time with him. And I definitely had like my sorority friends who are still friends now that like I would see, but I didn't hang. I remember like when we had broken up feeling like I wasn't as close to them as I could have been because I had a boyfriend the entire time I was forming a friendship with them.
And now it's kind of awkward. Like, hey guys, I want to hang out more.
Yeah. I mean, they were great. It wasn't awkward, but it definitely was like, okay, like I feel a little behind because everyone else kind of, and it wasn't like I wasn't friends with these people, but I definitely felt like there was some sort of barrier that, you know, that didn't necessarily like need to be there because I was
when you broke up with him. I remember you talking to me about this too.
Yeah. Well, he broke up with me. I don't want to put out false narrative.
I said when you broke up with him.
I know he broke up with me.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to be honest here.
Well, thank you for your candor. You did not have to do that. Hey man, it's okay. Hear that, guys? She wants to be so honest with you all the time.
Yeah.
She's a real one right here. Because I would have lied. I would have lied. You could not pay me to give you that information.
Oh my God.
I was tired of her, to be honest. Fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch. Yeah,
she was really annoying. That's actually how it was. No one ever broke up with me. So there it is.
Like out of my shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, that's hilarious. I remember you talking about that friendship thing.
Yeah, it definitely was like a really prevalent thing. And then on that, what I had hinted at earlier about failing 2 classes, they directly coincided with the breakups that I had in college.
Interesting.
And
that's suspicious.
No, it's not suspicious at all. It's very obvious. I was super emotionally distraught and could not focus on like my schooling and my classes. And like I allowed these boys essentially to like take over like everything, you know. I was really consumed by it because I really had this idea in my head of like what. Also, I'm the type of person, I enjoy being in relationships, and like I didn't have any like in high school, even like just as like growing up, like I didn't interact with boys like that at all. Like I was too shy to. So I wasn't the girl who was like in middle school and had a little boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like how those girls are.
I hate those girls.
Sure, you're right.
Those girls are really
honestly
annoying.
Where are they now?
Pregnant at 16. That's where. Yikes.
Right,
anyways.
Right. So I feel like that was also like a part of it. I wasn't I wasn't an ugly high schooler, but like I wasn't like stop.
Yeah.
But I also wasn't the like most like I wasn't the most like attractive girl, and I didn't.
You
put
definitely
myself,
blossomed in college.
I definitely
100%.
came into my beauty in college, 100%.
And
I also couldn't handle that as well. Like I was like, all these people want me.
Oh my God.
And I'm finally getting all this attention, and I'm a romantic, and I want love, and so
that's
here we are. Not a good combination. Yeah,
for you specifically. And to that, I wanted to add into the relationship aspect isn't necessarily the problem in that scenario. Right. And I guess that's coming from like where I was going to take it, right?
Yeah.
Not letting relationships consume you.
Totally.
Not letting relationships become your priority, I think is more important than avoiding relationships.
Yeah. No, 100%. If like you find someone you connect with them in college, like by all means, don't be like afraid of commitment.
Right.
But yeah, the focus on it and the extreme desire.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, you went from breakup to new relationship
to
in
another
3
breakup.
weeks, right? To another breakup. Like goodness. That's a lot.
I literally my entire college, like that was like when I say like it's my biggest regret.
Even 3 and 4, you were in a relationship?
We were together. God.
You got together.
We broke up in my second relationship towards the middle end of my 3rd year. So I finished out my 3rd year. That was like when I was like really in my breakup phase. And then my whole fourth year I was single.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But then halfway through my fourth year,
Yeah,
COVID
didn't
happened.
matter.
So it really was right.
Everyone was single.
Yeah. So if I knew that, I would not have spent my time in relationships.
Yeah.
But here we are.
That's fair. And that's really funny too, because on the relationship aspect, I did the opposite.
Yeah.
I was not focusing on relationships at all.
Yeah.
For the same advice that you actually just gave. My parents were telling me that all the time. Focus on your other stuff. Don't let these girls distract you. There's other things you need to prioritize, X, Y, Z. And the biggest lie they told me, to this day, I feel so betrayed. There's actually two really...
So betrayed.
Yeah, no, you don't understand. There's two huge lies that I feel like my family told me. I'm not going to talk about the second one right now, but the first one, the absolute betrayal, the fibbery that came out of this.
Oh my god!
And maybe it's because they grew up in a different time, or they didn't have the perspective. I'm the first one in my family that went to college, single anyways, and they were like, "There's going to be beautiful, decent career women after you graduate, so you don't have to worry about women in college. They're going to be waiting for you when you graduate." Like that. Those lies that they tell the Muslim people, oh, like kill yourself, like commit suicide, because when you just listen to commit suicide, because when you die, you're gonna have 40 virgins.
Oh, like
in heaven.
Those like jihadists.
Yeah,
like
the real extreme people.
Yeah.
Like that's how it kind of was. Like they're gonna be waiting for you. Do what you have to do before that.
That's such an extreme analogy.
It's the first thing came to mind. My brain just exists in extremes. Like they're 40 virgins worth. They're all like dudes. They never said they're 40 virgin women.
They didn't specify the gender.
Yikes, that would be such a betrayal. Could you imagine?
Oh my
I just
God.
blew myself up, and then all of a sudden I have to spend eternity with 40 men.
This is really gruesome.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Actually, let's talk about. I was kidding. I'm gonna really die on that.
Yeah, oh my god! I was just like, man, and I bought into that because it made so much sense. You see it in the media, all these corporate people getting together and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, actually, older women do make more sense. None of the girls that I saw as my peers look like people worth being in relationships with. That's not necessarily true, but for lack of just like majority, like people weren't necessarily relationship focused.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it is what it is. I will focus on relationships after I get my job together, after I start making more money. I can afford a girlfriend is what I always used to say. And lo and behold,
you graduated.
I graduated. I got into, again, one of the biggest companies in the world, the easiest access to people.
Yeah.
I was ready to meet my wife. All my wives were in relationships, fam.
They were wifed up.
They were
in college.
In college. That's the thing that killed me. That's the thing that I died a little bit inside because I was refusing all these really decent women talking about like, nah, I'm gonna get my wife when I start working. No. Wifeable women are wifed up immediately by very opportunistic, slightly intelligent men. If you're worth dating, you will be dated.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to all you single people out there.
Shut the fuck up. You're so rude. You're so rude.
If you're still single after college, are you worth dating?
Are you worth dating? Ask yourself that.
Ask yourself that.
Question
That's
of the
a question.
week.
Yeah, the question of the week. Are you good? Are you good? Yeah, think about that. Yeah, everyone worth dating, like the real worth dating people,
totally
were completely wifed up in college.
Yeah.
And in my arrogance, I was like, that's not going to last, because I didn't think relationships from college lasted. So, I kept these people in the back burner. I was like, this is a person I would date when I get a job. This is a person I would date when I get a job. I'm going to keep these things relevant. They all got freaking boyfriends. And
you were the person that boyfriends are like scared of.
Yeah, 100%.
The guy who's on the sideline waiting for his girl.
I wasn't on the side like that.
Oh, okay,
I was just like, all right, man, I can't wait for this girl to be like, I'm going to swoop in. I wasn't like that. I was like, I should have been like that. But I was the guy that boyfriends were scared of, but they had no reason to be.
Gotcha.
And I should have been exactly what they were terrified of. I really should have, because I was not opportunistic in any capacity. I was just comfortable and chilling, and I was like, I know all these girls, one of them will be relevant sometime, and I'm just gonna focus on me, what I'm focusing on, and it's cool.
Right.
And again, all my wives were wifed up, and you hear it every single time and time again. How'd you meet your boyfriend? Oh, we've been dating for the last 3 years. I met him in college. And that was so common to me that I had to take a step back and think. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense in retrospect. Because why would you wait to find a wifeable girl 3 years later when you have every access to social experiences, the one most connective environment on the planet, with all this access to like-minded people, and then that doesn't happen in the real world. You don't have that connectivity. You don't have that access. Why would you wait when it's like 1,000 times harder to find a girl that's sure, like, maybe she's a little rough around the edges. Maybe you guys have to work on a few things, learn how to communicate, learn how to be like a really good wife, boyfriend, whatever. Why would you wait to do that?
Yeah.
They're not waiting for you. And even if girls are waiting for you, the competition between men for the high quality women that have a bunch of men after them, that's what I didn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Women that I think are worth wanting are the cream of the crop. Everyone's going to be after them.
Totally.
And one of them, even if they're not as good as me, whatever, that's besides the point. I could be the best man in the entire world. If I'm not going after a girl that 15 other dudes are going after, the one that's trying the hardest is going to get the girl.
Yeah.
And that's the one she's going to marry.
Right.
And they got fucking married. I'm talking about someone very specific.
I was going to say, are you talking about someone specifically?
They got married, bro. They got married. I was like,
damn.
I was lied to. Because if someone told me that before, like, it's really hard to find relationships after college. You should focus on, like, don't prioritize it, but like, if you see a girl that's worth being with, be with her. If someone told me that, I would have probably had a really good girlfriend right now.
Wow.
And I was like,
imagine.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of really decent women in college that I was like,
that you're just like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You need to grow a little. 21-year-old. You did.
You totally. 100%.
But like, I should have been right there.
Yeah.
She should have been my girlfriend. And then you could have grown. And then by the time you were worth being with at 24, I already invested 3 years. And you can't get rid of me after that. I'm a catch. Are you kidding me? Like, come on. Wasted opportunity.
I do wonder whether, like, those relationships, like, maybe when you're, like, if you're still, like, super single, like, or single when you're, like, 30 to 35, if those women will be back on the market. Do you know what I mean? Because,
like, me specifically, or just like in
like
general?
If you're single at, like, between, like, 30 and 35, whether those women who got into, like, who were, you know, what's the word?
Taken?
Who were like
wifed up?
Yes, the women in college who were like the cream of the crop, as you said, who were wifed up in college, had those relationships. Not all of them are going to last. So let's say like
50% are going to not
statistically.
Yeah.
So let's say like then those women in like their 30s are getting like divorced and like, or those relationships have ended. Maybe they didn't get married, or like 28 to 30. This is what's happening. Do you think that maybe you'll see like a resurgence of quality in the women in your age group of like being back on the market?
It's really hard to say.
I'm curious.
28, but that is very interesting. I don't know enough about that because I don't think about like what 35-year-olds dating life looks like at all.
No,
but
I know, me neither.
Stop giving me hope, fam.
Why not? Why wouldn't I give you hope?
I need to focus on single women that are available, not this hypothetical girl that might break up or might not break up.
You find it through dating, and you'll see. You might see like maybe
on Hinge, like she's like, on Hinge. That's crazy,
right? You go on a date. I was in a relationship for like 8 years throughout my 20s.
That's actually true. There's actually,
you know what I mean?
From the corporate world, there are a lot of girls that 9-year relationship, 10-year relationship, they break up.
Yeah.
So like breaking up is possible.
You're right.
But I'm not banking on it.
No, of course not. Of course not.
That will make me the guy that you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Like just waiting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I am not a person that waits on the sidelines.
Yeah, never be that
Choose
guy, please.
me.
Yeah.
Choose me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not waiting
that's
for
your
you.
problem. You're not chasing because you want to be chosen.
True.
You're a princess.
True.
You are so that person.
You gotta
You're
be
like,
obsessed with me, fam.
Yeah.
If you're not obsessed with me, what's the point?
Girls won't chase you though first.
They will though. That's the thing.
But not the women
ones I
that you
want.
want.
The
They're
ones
not
I
going to
want.
chase
Bro,
you.
You sound fucking ornery right now. Stop. I've had this conversation 1,000 times. I get it. I understand.
I know.
I get this thinking isn't helping me in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. But it is funny that advice is like the opposite. Like as a girl going into college, don't focus on romantic relationships so much.
And as a guy going into college,
Find your wife.
Find your wife.
Girls
find your
don't
wife, bro.
find some fun, girls.
I feel like, and that's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's really true because both of those
Are true
for each of us.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they don't align in any way because it is 100% better for a girl to grow and experience and live her life not attached when she's younger. Within reason, right?
Right.
Some of y'all be doing some crazy ass shit.
You're doing a
maybe
little
if you
too
had a
much.
boyfriend, you would save yourself from a lot of bullshit.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I hear
Your
you.
friends do not necessarily have your best interests at heart, and then you put you in some crazy ass situations.
You definitely don't need to be acquainting yourself with the entire K-Sig fraternity.
Why are you being run through by half the football team?
It's like you don't need to go that far.
That gives you nothing.
I agree.
But maybe STDs.
Right.
And a lot of trauma.
100%. 100%.
But to live life unattached and explore and embody that freedom of femininity that everyone talks about as a young person, as a young lady, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because men are just being attached to men. I think you can attest to this. You start to shift who you are to cater to what they are, right?
100%.
So as an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old trying to explore who you are, you don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
To be connected to a person and then shift your personality to match theirs before you even understand who you are as a person is more damaging than not.
100%.
But if you're doing that in a safe and edifying way, I like 100% encourage that. Leave these boys alone.
Totally.
First of all,
right.
Become the woman that you're meant to be.
Right.
And then deal with the men. But again, it's 1,000 times harder for men to have access to romantic iterations with women. One, when that's actually it wasn't hard for me. I'm a bad example. Not important. For the average man, it's really hard, even in the most connective environment on the planet. It's going to be 1,000 times harder when most of the decent girls are taken and you have just less access to women in general than you did in college. It's exponentially harder. So it benefits you more to, one, not necessarily focus on it, but become a person worth dating as quickly as possible and hyper scope these women out. Really? Find the most.
He's like, I cannot express this enough.
Diamond in the rough, that shit. See the fixer upper. See the people who can grow into potential. If they have like 1, 2 non really red flag things that they need to work on, like, oh, they just need to learn how to communicate more. Wife those girls up. Work with them when they're young.
At that age too, there's going to be a lot of quote unquote. There's probably, I should say, there's going to be a lot of quote unquote, like maybe red flags. People. Yeah, exactly. Like that you're going to be dating. Like you'll be able to find all sorts of excuses. Like at that age, like in college, you are getting into a relationship to truly grow together in a very like intense way because you're going to grow so much, and
find someone to grow with, man, as quickly as possible. That's my advice for the people, because if one thing I would have done differently, I would have focused on that way more. Yeah. Because there was too many decent women. And not even like in my circle of purview.
Totally.
Like they were cool, they weren't cool, it is what it is. But I knew so many other girls. There's so many girls there. Yeah. I could have found a wife very easily. I didn't talk to a lot of decent women in my classes because I have my friends. I'll leave you all alone. Totally. I might not have done that. I might have been like more interested, like, see what this what are you studying psych for? Like, let's talk, let's hang out, get to know each other. Like, I would have been a lot more proactive about it.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not a regret. because I still have relative good access to people and opportunities and stuff like that. But that's just like a fluke. Like I said, I'm not the example.
Right.
And I understand the difference because sure, like I'm on social media, I get invited to all these things. I have access to these environments, sure.
Yeah.
But I still understand that if I knew something different, I could have had like a partner in crime. I could have created a partner in crime because I think I'm a person worth dating.
Yeah.
So like you're saying all these people, they're over here breaking up and stuff like that. Sure, whatever. I don't think that I would have necessarily, if I picked a person and was very proactive about picking a person in college, I wouldn't have broken up with them.
You think that would have been your for lifer?
They would have to be.
Wow.
I would have made it.
That's a hot take. Just like for you personally, for you as a person.
They would 100% have to be.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm, the only reason why we would break up would be because of them.
You're completely not at fault and wouldn't be at fault.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't be at fault, but I wouldn't end the relationship.
Oh, I see.
They would be breaking up with me for sure.
Gotcha.
Especially after college. Like, no, 5 years, fam.
Yeah.
We're making this work.
Yeah.
And we can talk it out.
Right. Especially like, yeah. Even
if it's someone that I pick specifically.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I hear you. And because you do hear now, even like I talk with my friends that are single and they're like, it's so difficult, like dating, especially like you're like, there's pros and cons with dating in big cities like LA,
right.
like, you know, people, you have a lot of people that you have access to versus like a smaller town. It might be two close circles. But it's, you do hear how much of a struggle it is. And then even just on like a friendship level as well of like,
yeah, just making friends. It
just
doesn't have
like
to be romantic.
literally connecting in any way socially once you get out of college is a lot more difficult. It's just a lot more difficult to do. So really, it's funny because when we were talking about career, we were like really, you can kind of do both, you know, with like, you know, a lot of the friends that I made was through these groups and organizations that I did join. And granted, Greek Life, I did not join for any philanthropic reason. But even in some of the other things that I like had briefly joined and didn't continue on, like, you know, I met people, I could have been friends with them for longer if I tried. But those things can kind of go hand in hand. Because I do think it definitely is important to cultivate that, like, that social aspect and really tap into that as well when you're in I mean, that's the reason why most people go. So you can't like deny yourself that,
of course.
Right?
Of
like
course.
You're going to do it. You're going to do the parties. You're going to do all the crazy.
Do
Yeah.
the parties.
100%.
You should.
You're not going to party like that once you leave college. It's just not going to be the same.
Party like that.
Right. Exactly. You're like, you're not going to do it and you shouldn't. And you're like, it's just.
You shouldn't. What do you look like as a 28-year-old getting blacked out on a Tuesday?
Well,
That's
I mean,
weird.
but I'm saying like even like when you're, I guess I was pretty young when I graduated, but like even when like you're 23, I guess there's a possibility that you'll party in a similar way as you did in college. But it is even that soon after graduating, it is going to look different. You know, you just aren't going to be doing it in the same way that you were in school. I agree. When you're 28, maybe not be blacking out all the time.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Take care of your health.
At that point,
like,
RIP your liver, bro.
Right.
Like,
I'm just
what?
like concerned for you.
Like, oh man.
But yeah, just like for that reason alone, it's a very unique experience. Obviously, you need to take advantage of it in whatever way that you can, you know. But yeah, I think that kind of like even like what we were touching on of like being with a person and growing with them, like the personal growth aspect of like, because I think that's also a little bit of why I regret being in relationships. There was just, it was multiple things why I regretted being in relationships a majority of my college experience. I guess it was like I wasn't able to develop the friendships as much as I wanted to, the failed classes that I had. It was only 2 and one of them was economics and it was really hard.
It was really hard.
It probably
no one's judging you.
Yeah, I know. I'm literally just judging myself. But then also too, like I think like that the third thing, I was so caught up in like these like grieving these relationships. Especially they were my first breakups that I like. There was the first relationships that I had. I didn't engage in it at all before.
Right.
So I took them really, really hard. That I don't think, actually, in a lot of ways, even our friendship, I think I would have not grown nearly as much if I did not have like you to look up to and have these conversations with. And like,
damn, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
you are greatly appreciated, because I think I might have been a bit more stunted because of those like relationships and those breakups that I was going through. if I didn't have someone like you to kind of go to and like
expand your perspective.
Exactly. Because I was just so caught up in those relationships and so caught up in those breakups that it really stunted in some ways like the personal growth that I could have had. You know
what I think is really interesting about that? Mm-hmm. It was unintentional.
So unintentional.
Isn't that so cool? That's just me being me, and it just like benefits you so much. Appreciate me more, please.
I am right now.
Man. Do that more often. I like that. I like that shit. It feels great.
Princess.
I really am. Why am I so spoiled, bro? That's like, I feel so entitled to all these things.
Yeah.
I think it has to be in between something of like, I feel like I deserve it.
Yeah.
And also like just deserving it.
Totally. I see what you're saying.
Like my money is where my mouth is.
Right.
For
you
most
do
of the
deserve
time.
it, and you also feel like you deserve it.
Yeah, and that's a bad combination.
Yeah.
That's a bad combo.
The head is large, the ego.
But the shoulders are broad.
Absolutely.
So it's fine.
That's such a funny saying. I love that.
So it's fine.
Oh, I love that.
I've been called a big head for so long. I have to get my comebacks. You know?
Right. Of course.
The ego demands it.
Yes.
I feel like people should be obsessed with me because I see what you guys are obsessed with.
You're like, and I'm better than that.
I am. So please, like, if you're gonna obsess over that, why not me?
Why not? I don't know.
I'll let y'all be the judge of that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I will say one more thing about the social aspect as far as like partying and stuff like that. Those things are fun. The cool thing about finding a wife and getting someone really young, unless you're the same, like when you guys are young, not getting a peer, not looking for a young girl. You get to, in that growing together, you get to have the peaks and valleys of a relationship and an interaction with a person that isn't necessarily set in their perspective on how things should go in a relationship. Totally. There's no flexibility the older you get, or there's less flexibility the older you get. There's more expectations the older you get. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to date a 30-year-old. She's going to want a very specific thing. She's been burned a few times to be single at that age. Yeah. So she has a very specific
and as she should.
Yeah, she should have that, but it does kind of ruin, like we were saying before in that dating series, it kind of ruins the novelty of getting to know a person.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm paying for mistakes that your ex did. Mm-hmm. And granted, you should protect yourself. Like, I'm not blaming you for that. But I'm affected by that.
Well, it's like, it's one of those things of like at 30, you, like you said, you have a plethora of dating experience. And at that age, you should have like you know yourself, or should to a decent extent, you have like your standards set. Whereas when you're dating, when you're like in, your early 20s, you're kind of like creating the playbook together. And I think versus already having your playbook.
I think in that creation is a beautiful place to be.
Totally.
Because I'm pretty sure in the people that have their playbook all established, there's a person in there that I could connect with and we could have a really good time. Mm-hmm. But I'm being blocked by her line of defense. Yeah. I can't even get in there. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people should not get in there. Yeah. But I can't connect with that. Yeah. And I know there's more to it, but it's not giving me anything more to pursue. Versus if I was an 18-year-old dating an 18-year-old, there isn't that defensiveness so much. Mm-hmm. So you get to explore and create things together. And I love that. And I wish... Yeah. And this is wishful thinking. I know it's not like a practical expectation to put on people, but I do think there's a beautiful thing of letting experiences like exist in their little environment and then taking what you should, but not projecting what you've learned so quickly onto new people. Unless it's very obvious, like, oh, you are doing this really aggressive thing. I'm not going to waste my time with that. Right. But when you find a person that's like open and willing to like want to get to know you and he seems decent, to kind of like put all those like nervous defensiveness to the side a little bit and like kind of enjoy the novelty and the creative experience that comes with getting to know a person and creating a life together. Because
there's also like a beauty in dating when you're older, and the sense of like you are dating people who, just to generalize, because this is not always the case, who typically know themselves better than you do at like 18, 19. And so that can be a really awesome benefit of dating when you're older, right?
And I love that about older people.
Right.
But I don't get to experience who you've gotten to know because
there's just more barriers that you kind of have to get through before you get to that.
And
essentially,
those barriers are rough. And to the conversation we had, a lot of those barriers drop when you put a title on it. And my thing is the same thing I said before. It's really difficult for me to want to put a title on it if everything becomes what I want it to be after the title comes. Yeah. I want it to be very close to what I want it to be. And then I'll put that literally, I marry you because you look like a person I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Right.
Not, do you want to marry me? Oh, all of a sudden you become everything I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a really delicate balance.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And I know why it has to be that way. I understand more than we had several episodes explaining why it has to be that way. And still personally, I'm just it sucks that it has to be that way.
Yeah. I hear you.
Because there's a beauty in exploration.
Yeah.
That innocence in a way.
I hear you.
But yeah, that's neither here nor there. That's just me.
Yeah.
Saying my piece, I guess.
I feel so strongly, as you should. Why not?
What do you have to say about personal growth, Renee?
Yeah. I think that as, like I said, had been in relationships all of college, I think I did a lot of personal growth and self-seeking and soul searching post-college, from 21 to 23, of getting to know myself because I was in relationships in college that entire time. Granted, I am a pretty fast learner, and I feel like I had the experiences that I wanted to have to kind of get to where I knew I wanted to be, essentially. But I do believe that some of that struggle that I was having while I was post-college, granted, like I said, it's so tainted by pandemic. Right. So it's hard to say what was totally
what could have happened that fourth year.
Right. The possibilities really are endless. There were so many plans. Even our New York trip.
Dude, I still think I was thinking about that earlier this week.
We still haven't gone to New York. We never went.
We never went to New York.
Yeah. Well, I got broke, and so that's what happened. But we're getting our money up, so it actually is much more possible now.
We'll 100% go to New York.
Much more possible now. But I think there was a lot of struggle and healing and whatnot that I did not really face at all when I was in college, because, and not even necessarily in regards to relationships and dating, just as I was talked about earlier, I was at the end of high school, I had gone through a huge, I don't think I'm Christian anymore, phase. And though I did kind of work through that a little bit as I was in school, I largely ignored that. And so I feel once I had graduated and once I wasn't in these relationships, there was a lot of stuff that I just kind of got hit with. About I don't know. I just didn't feel like I knew myself in a lot of ways, even graduating and not even knowing what career I wanted to go into. I really felt lost in myself in that time. And which was fine. I feel like you're it's a test. It's early 20s regardless. So it was fine that I was 22 and not knowing who I was. Right. You're probably not saying that I would have known exactly who I was at 22, but I do think I would have had just a better grasp on things a little bit more if I wasn't so hell-bent on having a boyfriend. Yeah. Essentially.
Again, for you specifically, that prioritization is a very curious thing. Because you said, all that you said, fast learner, very put together, very intelligent.
Right.
Even you're saying I helped you in those lines of growth that you wouldn't have had if you were in the relationship. Yeah. It's funny because in that unintentionality of just me being myself, you were also a person I didn't feel like I had to lecture about relationship stuff for the most part, because you would always come to me with this accountability and understanding of the situation that I was just yeah, man, that's true. So you understood the outcome, you participate very proactively, and you don't have a lot of victimization and stuff this happened and it was because I want to participate in it, and that's okay.
Definitely didn't feel bad about a lot of the choices I made.
Yeah, so I'm just for sure.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of active, like, you need to do a lot of things different, Olivia. You know what I mean? Doing all that
well,
stuff, right?
Still the goody two shoes at heart, right? So I couldn't go too far.
Fair. But I like in that, I find it so interesting that you put so much significance of what you could have had outside of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because even within the relationship, you were great. You know what I mean? So did the relationship really affect you in a really significant way? I don't know. I'm very curious to like explore why that.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
I feel like I think, and granted to like, I guess my, oh my God.
Credit?
Yes. Literally, what the frick? That's so annoying. I hate when that happens. It's like I use that all the time. Why am I blanking now? Anyways.
Cash or credit?
Right. Frustrating. The brain, it really fails you when you need it.
Most.
Exactly.
It vanishes.
It vanishes. Poof. To my credit, I was still, even utilizing the relationships in the way that I think I should have when I was in them. But I think just even in terms of wow. I really
yeah.
The things that I think about immediately when I'm talking about my own personal growth was a lot of like the mental like health and like healing that I did not address at all until after college. Because like I mentioned, I was definitely depressed when I was in high school. I go into college.
Depressed? You better depress these dishes.
Yeah, right. What the fuck?
Mom, I'm depressed.
Mom, I'm depressed.
All right, come in here and depress these dishes.
No, literally.
Oh,
no F's given.
Yikes.
Not necessarily true. My mom was going through a divorce, so she was preoccupied with her own breakup.
Right.
But I just was, I was depressed. I went to school and like, obviously I think I at the end of the day, I did what I needed to do. Like, to
high functioning depressed person.
Yeah, 100%. But I even remember like in my second relationship, just like, I think towards the end of that relationship, I remember being told like, you need to go to therapy. And like, yeah, I'm like, damn, for sure. Like, and I
I'm not perfect.
I'm like, what? I'm perfectly fine. In hindsight, I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you were just so not well. Yeah. And post college, I really I really went through it, and I interacted and dated people that it's fine. And like, I kind of what you were saying, to your point, begrudgingly, I say this, that yes, there is some traumas that like through dating that I maybe didn't necessarily need to have, or I was really seeking in a way and interacting with people. And I like, there's a lot of traumas that I experienced in my dating life post college that I don't know that I necessarily would have done if I had really prioritized my mental health.
Right.
Because I needed to. It wasn't just like, like the run of the mill.
Something you should do.
Right.
Be a better
like
partner.
Exactly. It was like, no, like
issues I need to address.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Exactly.
That you were trying to hide through the energy of another human being.
100%.
Yeah, that's the red flags I always tell people don't do.
Yeah.
Address your problems. Actualize yourself.
Address them. Right. 100%.
That's fair.
So I think that's more so what I mean. And and now I'm able to do that. And now I'm in a relationship where I'm able to still do that with a really loving, supportive partner. So shout out Matthew.
Snaps to the homie. Honestly, from the moment I met him, I knew. I knew
what it was.
I was like, no, this is definitely a person worth dating.
Yeah,
for sure.
And coming from Jem,
yeah. First of all, coming from me, and then also like knowing all the other people you've dated. Never said that before.
Yes.
Think about that. Think about that.
I had suspicions sometimes, but
I mean, it wasn't my place to really address.
Yeah.
You weren't going to stop dating because I said something.
Right.
So I was going to save my breath. You didn't ask me any questions. So I was like, for sure.
I really wasn't asking. I don't need you.
And it wasn't ever bad enough to be like, please.
Like, please don't
get
do
out
that.
of this relationship. What are you doing?
Oh my God.
But yeah, nah. Like, for sure, this guy is a very decent man.
Yes. But yeah, so I think like in that, and I guess this is maybe like the personal growth aspect that I'm coming from is like in college and outside of college as well, like even now, like 25, like I'm a totally different person and I still feel like I'm growing. I'm definitely more of the person that I want to be now though, for sure.
Right.
But you are growing so exponentially during that time period, 18 to 21, like you are from when you start college and then when you're graduating, you are going to be a completely different person. Hopefully, you should be a completely different person.
Fingers crossed you're not the same 18-year-old that came into college.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my goodness. Please don't be that.
Please don't be the same person. And in that, there's a lot of like, it's growing pains. It's you know, you're going like, it's mental, like spiritual, emotional growing pains that you're going through. And I wish I like honed in on that a little bit more. Because I think that could have been like a really beautiful thing. And it still was beautiful. We're still here today. We're still doing the damn thing. Yeah. And I'm still having, you know, beautiful transformations because I am ever evolving.
Ephemeral being.
Exactly. 100%. But still, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Very, very true. Very, very true.
What's your perspective on it?
Personal growth for me, I wish I really tapped into what it meant to really be a man versus like manhood versus masculinity.
Yeah.
And expressing and owning my emotions better. If I could do it over, I would have had and utilized a much more structured support system.
Like a mentor? Like
a mentor, just like counselor. Like not necessarily like I didn't have a bunch of mental health issues like you were talking about.
Right.
But I could have definitely used a therapist to just like flesh out my ideas.
Yeah.
I utilize like journaling a lot. So I fleshed out my ideas with myself.
Yeah.
But professors and college counselors and those type of people are the big brain minds that I could have utilized more to one career, like you were saying, career things. Right. But again, I wasn't really a career motivated individual at the time, so I wasn't going to do that.
Right.
But just as far as like how I'm thinking about things, formulating ideas in a more structured way, saying them out loud, not internalizing things so much. I really wish I had a better support system in that capacity, and then felt willing and able to ask for help when I needed it. Not have to figure out everything on my own until
you felt like you had to do it all.
Yeah, I had to be like the whiz kid all the time until like I couldn't be that and everything was falling apart. And then when things are crumbling down, they're like, all right, y'all, so I'm about to die. So
no,
can I get a little assistance, please?
Right.
Because
when it's like detrimental, like you're literally on your deathbed.
And I think that's not a useful way to be. And if I would have developed those habits at a younger age, asking for help wouldn't be so strenuous even now. Because even now I have a really hard time needing things from people.
Right.
Understanding that, like, as a man, you need help. Yeah. First of all. As a man, why do you need help?
As a man.
As a man, why do you need help? But like, also as a man, you definitely need help. And you're not even a man at 18. That's the thing.
I think like it's always, I'm not... Don't you know?
Take this the wrong way.
Well, no, not take this the wrong way. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to die on this hill per se, because I'm not exactly sure if I mean this, but I'm going to say it. You'll see. You'll see. I think that like an 18-year-old boy needs like it feels like an 18-year-old boy needs like a male figure, a mentor in some regard. They don't have to be like crazy old, right?
No,
but a male figure, male like mentor in their life, or it feels more useful for an 18-year-old boy than an 18-year-old girl in my brain. I don't know if I actually mean that. And maybe it's just something that's more like, maybe I just see that more often, and maybe that's why.
I think it's more...
I think girls need community.
And to that point, I think it's a byproduct of female interactions that you guys just have that.
Gotcha.
So whether or not you need it, I think everyone needs it. Every young person needs guidance from older people. That's a non-starter.
Yeah,
Women
you're right.
more readily have that available as a byproduct of just them interacting in community versus where men get that. Men leave the house and they're expected to just carve their path. Right. And it's really hard and it's really complicated to try to access a mentor that you just don't naturally find. Like it's really like you're really lucky when you get a mentor as a young man. And I, as a 22-year-old, became that for a lot of younger dudes. And I really wish that I had something like that for myself when I was 18. Like, how did I become that? It was like a really complicated and grinded out process. Like I was really like up for weeks at a time. Not actually, like big dramatic. But I was up for a long time, just like really sitting with my thoughts and really hammering out the inner workings of my mind, like on a daily basis.
Yeah, that sounds really intense.
No, it was. It really was intense.
I'm getting a headache thinking about it.
And the beauty of that is that I did that very young, so I didn't have to do that as like a 25-year-old, which most people start the process. So it's like the growing pains. We want to talk about growing pains.
Yeah.
The growing pains suck. The bigger you are, the older you are. It's really like you break a bone when you're old, you can't fix that as easily.
Yeah.
I was doing that since I was like 17, 18. And maybe that's a byproduct of the environment and the thing I required. But I do think there were resources and people out there that I could have utilized more if I was willing to seek them out and find them. And not to really comment on the structure of manhood and how we communicate with young boys and just in general as a society. Yeah. But trying to find that type of community for men that's not in a fraternity, because that's not where you get it. Right. At all. Not necessarily. They have mentors, but the mentors that I got from my Greek life situation when I was 22, first of all. So didn't really have
their
that.
peers.
Yeah. So, but they weren't offering the personal growth, the self-actualization, the real in-depth what is a man, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a man in America, what it means to be a black man in America. Totally. They weren't offering that. They're like, fuck bitches get money type shit. You know, they were like, use a condom. They were like dumb shit like that. Like wrap it up. How many girls are you talking to? Like, and that's what you get from Greek life. Right. That's the amount of male community that you get from Greek life. For the most part, it's like only after time where you form a bond with these men, like that you start finally at 18, you form a bond when you're 22. When you're 24, 25, then you start talking about these like real in-depth things that matter. Yeah. And stuff like that.
Yeah. And there may be exceptions to that, but I think
a lot of exceptions
for the most part, it's
what I just said. But I think that's a travesty in many ways. Yeah. Because there's more to being a man than fucking bitches.
That part.
And getting money.
Wait, what?
There's more to being a man than fucking bitches and getting money.
Wow.
I know it sounds so profound, right? Like it sounds like such a huge concept, but like it's such a basic idea. Yeah. And the fact that it sounds like such a big concept is my issue with it, because it's not talked about. That's what the entire conversation is. Learning how to not be used by women and acquiring resources. You're a man. You're a man. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I'm just like, there's a whole other aspect for your humanity that is so underdeveloped and stunted. Yeah. Because it's just not educated. It's not brought out of you. A guy I was watching the other day said men are groomed into this toxic masculinity situation. So you can't really blame like these young boys, because by the time they're 3, they're told not to cry, hide their emotions, stop acting like a girl, do all that stuff. And well, no one really aggressively told me that. There are things that you hear, 1, and then 2, there are no examples. For me personally, there was no examples I wanted to emulate. Every man in my life had egregious problems that I was like, you are a perfect example of what not to be. Right. You're not the man I want to be. You're the man I don't want to be. So I'm definitely going to follow your path, your example, and not do that shit. Right. 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 And that's useful to a point, but it doesn't give you what to be.
Right.
And what to be is so much more important than what not to be. Because you could be anything if you're avoiding something. But you have to be a specific thing, and that's never talked about. And that's, to me, is a really hard thing to exist with. Yeah.
No, word on that. I do agree. It is like definitely like heavily socialized for sure, right? I think it is well, it's probably not interesting or funny. Like how we have like two different, like, right, we're different people, so you're going to have different approaches to like what you're looking back to your college experience, what we would have focused on more in our like personal growth. I don't know if maybe this is what it sounds like it is, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But how a person can kind of hone in on like what that is for them as they're going to college is, well, as we stated, this is the first time that you are not going to be under your parents' like supervision or watch and whatnot, and not around the typical people that you have been around for your entire life, and really utilizing and taking advantage of that. Because at least for me, like a part of my personal growth and aspect that I had to get away from was, right, like the religious, like strict parent, that I had to get out from under that for me to kind of expand and experience and grow and go through that, essentially the growth that I needed to go through in like my young 20s. Because I do think that, like, granted, I'm judging so hard and I could be completely wrong and I'm making an assumption about people, but I do think you are doing yourself a disservice when you stay home when you're like 18 and you graduate high school.
Yeah,
I think you need to find a way to get out of there. And if you can't necessarily afford to do that, like find ways to go and have experience, because you can still like, even post college, I've seen like there are experiences that you can still have, like go to community, if you need to go to community college, stay at home, whatever. Like there are experiences that you can still go out and have, like programs, like abroad programs or things that you can tap into to kind of get away from home. But
even if you come back and find that everything you learned until that point was correct and you co-sign it, you should have the experience of going out and seeing other perspectives
100%
and just being away from the influence of the community that raised you.
Be aware of the fact that you no longer have those eyes on you, that you can literally, it sounds very scary, but you can literally be whatever you want to be, but in the sense of like you can really look at yourself and become what you want. You know, so really take that opportunity to like look within and tap into that, you know, like where did you feel like you couldn't what aspects do you feel like you couldn't express? What aspects of yourself did you feel like you couldn't heal or explore? Because
what ideas are your own versus things that have been told to you?
Right.
How much ownership do you have over things you understand to be true? Who knows?
100%. And I definitely was, I'm sure, well, I'm actually not sure, but with my mom I will say like during college with my mom, I was very vocal with her. I did not hold back in the, like I didn't hide my like disagreements with her. Right. It was definitely easier because I didn't go home very often. I went home maybe once a year, twice a year. If there was like a graduation or something, but I definitely was like, yeah, I don't believe in this. Yes, Mom, I'm having sex. Like I was very upfront with her. I'm glad that I did that because it has helped our relationship now. But
I was always like that with my parents.
Regardless. I was to a degree, and I know that's like specific because there's people who have different parents and that sometimes cannot necessarily bode well. That like directness and honesty.
Maybe you don't want to
especially if they're paying for your college. Maybe you want to keep that to yourself.
For all intents and purposes,
depending.
You know, there is a lot of nuance to that. Like, don't be rude to your benefactor. Not necessarily in your best interest, for sure. Take that with a grain. Don't be a rebel without a cause. Renee, Jesus Christ.
Right.
But I always was open to like the disagreement. I wasn't rude to my parents,
of course,
but I was always open to the disagreement, and I was always questioning things. Like I don't necessarily. Again, same idea behind. There were no examples of people I wanted to be. So I was always questioning what they were doing and why they thought the way they thought.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to the bottom of it. So
like I need answers now.
So I'm not gonna. So I don't do that. Right? Like why do you do the things you do so I can avoid that mode of behavior?
Here's a pen and paper. Thank you.
Analyze yourself, please.
Right.
They cannot do that.
Questions and answers.
Yeah, stress them out, man. That's crazy.
Oh gosh,
Absolutely
that's funny.
insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, college is still super fun.
It's a great time. It's a great time.
Like I was saying earlier, I don't want to go back to it.
Never. No.
I don't want to go back to it, but there are
My body could not handle it.
She's too old to drink that much.
I'm in that mid-20s. They always it's talked about a lot on the internet. In your mid-20s, you become a hermit, and you're like, I'm not going to go out anymore. I'm going to focus on like my health and wellness. And then like later 20s, you kind of go like crazy again. I tend to, for me, it's more of like a month to month. I kind of oscillate. I'm either really social one month or I'm not. So it kind of depends. But
I've always been kind of the same.
Yeah.
I've never been one to go insanely crazy.
Yeah.
So that has just been the progression. I've been moderately crazy the entire time. And I don't have bouts of like, oh, I'm on a bender and I've been around the US and been drunk the entire time.
Yeah.
Sniffing cocaine. Like that's not what I've ever done.
Right.
But yeah, I have a glass of wine. Oh, you want to turn up this weekend? Sure.
Let's do it.
Nah, I don't really want to turn up this weekend. And I've always been, even in college.
Always just been a good balance for you.
So
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced. That's what I am. That's what I focus on. That's what I try to be. So it is what it is. But college is a useful and necessary situation experience. If you get the opportunity to go to college, if you're smart enough to be there, just kidding. Just kidding.
So
Everybody calm down.
Once again,
I mean,
the digs.
You do kind of have to. Actually, if you work hard enough to be there, you don't have to be smart. There's a lot of dumb people
I was
going to
say, never mind.
But if you have the wherewithal to apply yourself to the point where you get accepted to university, or community college, whatever, it's really there's a lot of good resources, a very beneficial words. Wow, it's a really beneficial experience that I would recommend everyone that wants to go to. To go to. College is not necessary. I'm not saying college is necessary, but it's very fun if you decide to go to, and you should and will make the most of it. Don't be in your dorm all first year like my roommate was, playing video games. That's boring. There's so many people. There's so many perspectives. I had the most interesting and crazy conversations. Like 18-year-olds can come up with the craziest things to say to each other.
We are,
on top of like my ability to like come up with the craziest things to tell people.
Right.
So like I was out of pocket and they were here for my like egregious out of pocketness. You can't get that as a 28-year-old. 10 years later, you can't get that 10 years later. That's insane that's 10 years later for me. Wow. It's not the same.
Jem
People look at you
okay.
like, oh my God, you really just said that. Yikes. So
it's definitely different. Definitely different.
Enjoy it, make the most of it, utilize it as a resource, and
tap into everything that college has to offer. Truly.
Do that.
Yeah. I think that might be all we have to say on it.
Are you sure, Renee?
I don't know. Yes, I am sure. That's all I have to say, so we're done.
Well, goddamn, you heard it here first, folks.
Oh my God.
Thank you all for listening.
Yes.
I liked that conversation. It was a good conversation, in my opinion.
I had a lot of fun with that. I knew I was going to really enjoy that.
Because it's like the stakes are so low. You're talking about yourself. It can't. There's no like right or wrong. It's just like what you experience.
It's literally just my life.
I hope you guys enjoyed a little glimpse into our personal situation.
Yes.
And if you did, let us know. Comments, questions, concerns in the socials. We're trying new things. We're going to get more popular. Just you wait. If you haven't heard of us, you will in a second.
Yes.
But if you're listening to this, you probably heard of us. So thank you guys for listening this entire time.
Thank you.
For those
love
like
you.
30 people that listen to our videos every week, you guys totally rock.
Yes. We appreciate you.
Very fun.
We're just excited for the more that we'll be able to do.
Exactly. And a lot of things are coming in the future. But until then, I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And we're the Intellectuals signing off until next time.
Bye.